All right, and welcome. Thanks for joining me. We are going to be doing a mindfulness and yoga session today dealing with strength and inner strength. You should have already this week sat with Sharon and had a discussion on assertiveness. Assertiveness is basically self-advocacy, standing up for ourselves, and saying what needs to be said, and in a way that is strong without being aggressive, but also without being passive. So you can live into that assertiveness through mindfulness and yoga too. It can actually help you cultivate that assertiveness. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some breathing, then we're going to do some yoga, and then we're going to do a little meditation at the end. So let's go ahead, and you can have a seat or you can stand. We're going to end up standing for yoga anyway. Take your hands and place them on your belly. You could even place one hand on a chest, one hand on a belly, whichever feels good to you. And we're going to do some deep breaths together. So I want you to breathe so that you can feel your body moving beneath your hands. So take a deep inhale now. Feel your stomach filling up with air, holding at the top, and releasing slowly. I made myself yawn. That happens because we take in more oxygen. Our bodies aren't used to it. So let's do that again together. Breathing in, holding at the top, and release. Let's do a couple more of those together. Breathing in, holding, and releasing. Leaving your hands where they are, continuing to breathe deeply. I want you to think about, what is strength? What does it mean to be strong? Think now, as we set our intention for today's mindfulness, what does strength look like from the outside? And what does strength look like from the inside? Great. You can go ahead and rest your hands. Bring your shoulders up to your ears. Roll them back. Let's get ready for our yoga piece. Okay, I'm going to adjust my screen so you can see me a little better. There's my mat. We're going to do some poses today that have a lot to do with strength. So I picked warrior poses because I feel like I just did the opposite of what I wanted to do. I feel like strength is really seen in the warrior poses. So we're going to be doing some of that warrior pose sequencing, okay? If you're not sure what warrior pose is, I'm going to walk you through it. So the first thing we're actually going to do is we're going to do root to rise. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand in mountain pose with your hips in line with your feet, your shoulders in line with your hips, back and down, a nice strong posture. Standing in your strength. Perfect. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring our hands up to the sky and float them on down for a fold. You can touch your shins or you can grab your toes. Now I want you to bend into a squat, putting your hands on the ground, really rooting down. Feeling the earth supporting you. On your next inhale, I want you to begin to slowly start to stretch your legs out and begin rolling up one vertebrae at a time until you're finally back into your mountain pose. Perfect. So we just rooted to the earth. We're strong like a tree roots into the ground, and we rose up. We don't want to stay rooted and hidden. We want to stand strong. Awesome. What we're going to do is we're going to stand in your mountain pose. I'm going to turn myself this way so you can see me better. Go ahead and take a nice big step out. You should have one foot pointed this way, another foot pointed kind of diagonal. And go ahead and turn your hips to where they're facing towards the top of the mat. They're not going to be all the way. That's okay. Sweep the hands up. Stack the knee on top of the ankle. This is warrior one. Broaden the shoulders. Lifting the heart. Stabilizing yourself in that back foot. Feeling that strength on the edge of that back foot. And sitting in this strength. Warrior one. Excellent. This is the first pose in our warrior series. On your next inhale, we're going to shift into warrior two. What that means is you're going to bring your arms down to where they're parallel with the ground. Notice how that opened up our hips. So now our hips, instead of facing this way, are turned more this direction. Perfect. Warrior two, your legs are going to feel a lot the same. And look out over that front hand with your fingertips pointing and together. Notice your arms. Check in. Are they nice and lifted? Stacking that knee over that ankle. Excellent. You're going to start to feel this one after a minute, and that's okay. We're adding strength to our bodies. Perfect. You're going to windmill yourself, bringing that palm of the front hand up. Back hand comes down. Looking up, we're reversing our warrior. This is reversed warrior. So notice we started here, sweeping the hands up this way, looking up towards the sky. This is reverse warrior. Excellent. Check in with your breath here. Perfect. Windmill yourself back up. Next, what I want you to do is go ahead and grab your hands behind you. Keep your shoulders nice and broad and down. We don't want shoulders jutting out. Bring your shoulder blades together. Knee is still stacked and bend. This is humble warrior. Looking towards the ground, you're just folding over that leg. Again, check in with your shoulders. Make sure they're not dipped down. Keep those shoulders up. Press into the hands. Unleashing the hands. Bringing yourself up. Straightening out that leg. Coming back to the top of the mat. Perfect. That was our warrior series. Now, we've talked about this with yoga. Whatever we do on one side, we must do on the other. So you're going to stand at your top of your mat. I'm turning myself so you can still see me, so I can direct my attention this way. Take a big step back. Awesome. Into that lunge. This foot's now pointed that way. This foot's now turned a little bit diagonal. Stack the knee over the ankle, sweeping the hands up for warrior one. Broadening the shoulders. Hands together, imagining lasers to the moon coming out of your fingertips. Feel the edge of your back foot, finding stability there. It should be connected to the ground. Also, notice your abs right now. Let's go ahead and engage those if you haven't already. And most importantly, check in with your breathing. Perfect. Opening it up to the other side, warrior two, a nice parallel line with your arms. Your hips are now facing more of this direction instead of facing towards the top of the mat. They've opened up quite a bit. Sink into that, keeping that knee stacked over the ankle. You're going to start to feel it. Breathe into the spaces where you feel that effort. Feel your body doing really cool things. You are super strong. We're celebrating that strength today. Flipping that front hand up. Reversing our warrior, your windmill, the back one down. Look up towards that lifted hand. Finding stability here. bringing us back up to warrior two. Float the hands down. We're now going to do our humble warrior. So you're going to take the hands, put them behind your back. Important that we're noticing what our shoulders are doing. You don't want slumpy shoulders. Shoulders lifted, heart lifted, pressing back down into the hands and fold. Let me notice my knee is not exactly doing what it's supposed to do. Perfect, humble warrior. Breathe into the pose. Pushing down into those hands, broadening the shoulders away from the ears. And coming back up, perfect. One more series we're gonna do, eagle and eagle on a cliff. Okay, so this one is tricky. We're going to use this leg as our standing leg. I want you to sit like a squat. You're on this, well, way back up. This leg standing. Go ahead and lift this leg up, cross it over your knee. If this is what you can do, great. If you can wrap it around the back, okay too. And now take, so this is my right leg. I'm gonna put my right arm beneath my left one, my left elbow sitting in my right elbow, and twist around, okay? This is eagle pose. Let me explain that one again so you can get it. My right leg is on top. My left arm is sitting on top. Wrap them around. If this is what you can do, fine. If you can wrap, fine. Sit into this. I'm squatting into the pose. And releasing, don't put that leg down. We're going to shoot that leg back, toes flexed towards the ground, arms extended for eagle on a cliff, also known as warrior three. If you like your arms to the side, great. If you like your arms sticking straight out, fine. Up to you. And bring it on down. Woo! Talk about some strength. Man, we're gonna be really strong today. All right, again, everything we do on one side, we do on the other. So this is my balancing leg now. Lifting up my left leg, setting it on top of the right knee. If this is what you can do, great. If you can wrap, awesome. If you fall out, no big deal. You might find you have more balance on one side than the other. Perfect. So since my left leg is on top, my right arm will be on top. It's going to sit into the crook of the elbow of the left arm and wrap. Beautiful. Slowly coming out of the pose. Don't put that left leg down. Extend it back behind you, dipping your chest forward. Parallel line your body's making, flexing the toes towards the ground. Eagle on a cliff, also known as warrior three. If you need to pop out of it, that's okay. Don't fall down, just keep yourself. It's okay, don't fall because you're trying not to fall. Just step out of it if you need to, no worries. And again, if you would like to stick your hands in front of you, that's okay too. Holding here for just a moment. And bringing that foot down. Let's shake those legs out. Round of applause for you. That took a lot of strength of our bodies. Now we're gonna do a little meditation. So congrats, you did the hard physical part. Time to think about our bodies. So go ahead and find a nice meditative position. So sitting down, reclining back, but making sure you're, unless you are an expert, not laying down because you will probably go to sleep. And the point of meditation is not to try to go to sleep, it's to try to, engage our minds in something really cool and different. So go ahead and find a meditative position. If you need something to support your back, that's fine. Give you a moment to transition there. My suggested meditative position would be to sit cross-legged on the ground, maybe near a wall if you need to prop your back up with a pillow. Couch is hard for me because I like to fall asleep on the couch, but if you are not as sleepy as I am, then go for it. Okay. We're going to investigate our strong voice today. And by that, I mean, we're going to tap into our inner strength. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes if you're comfortable. If not, simply soften your gaze and allow your eyes to land on something towards the ground where you can kind of let them sit there. Every one of us is born with powerful strength inside. We have a well of this inner strength that some people tap into too quickly, too much. They let too much of that out. And others don't tap into it at all. I want you to imagine that this inner strength that you have inside of you is like a voice, like a little voice inside yourself. Take a moment and just see if you can find that strong voice inside. Where do you feel that strong voice inside your body? Where do you think it lives? What does this voice sound like? Is it high or low? Is your strong voice loud or soft? Does your strong voice make you think of someone? Listen. What does your voice say? What can you do to find your strong voice when you're angry or afraid? When do you need your strong voice? I want you now to picture yourself being strong. You might picture yourself doing something that makes you look strong, using your body in strong ways. But what do you look like when you're showing your inner strength? Picture that in your mind right now. When you're ready, you can bring your eyes back up to the screen, opening them if you had them closed, shifting your gaze here if you had them simply unfocused and looking down. Assertiveness is a really long, fancy word for your inner strength, using your inner strength to stand up for yourself. I read once that we get angry because we know that we are worthy, that we are beings of worth. And we get mad when people treat us like anything but that. Someone takes something from you, that feels wrong because you know you are worthy of having your possession. Someone calls you a name, you get angry because that feels wrong because you know you are a being of worth who doesn't deserve to be called that. We have this inherent sense of self-worth. Even if we have low self-worth, we still have the knowledge that people should treat us fairly and justly. That's why we also have empathy for others when they are treated unfairly and unjustly. We see that boundary being crossed. That's where your assertiveness comes in. That's where that strong voice comes out. We too often get assertiveness confused with aggression. They're not the same. My strong voice doesn't yell, isn't ragey. My strong voice, when I think about what it says no. And it says no just like that. It doesn't scream it, it doesn't whisper it, but it says it sternly and confidently. That's what your strong voice says. Your strong voice is your inner self knowing when you need to speak up, when you're going to call out injustices that you see happening to others, when you're going to let others know when they've crossed boundaries with you or when they're about to. That's when assertiveness comes in. Or when somebody has made a mistake and you need to rectify it. It could be as simple as somebody doesn't give you the right change back when you're paying for something. You can be assertive and say, hey, I gave you a 10, not a 5. And they'll be like, oh, okay, cool. No big deal. 99% of the time, it's not a huge deal. But you've got to stick up for yourself. It's important. It's about your self-worth, which you inherently have. We are all worthy. We are all worthy beings. So we've got to stand up for that. Because if you don't, very few people will. So it's on you to make sure that your inner strength shines through. And it will. People will respect it. People will acknowledge it. And it doesn't mean you're being mean. It means that you are being confident and standing up for who you are. So mindfulness can help with that. Mindfulness is a way to tap into that strong voice, learn what it says, learn how it sounds, and then emulate that. Let that shine the next time you need to be assertive. I appreciate so much you watching this and showing up for yourself today. Thank you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.